you know, what is this thing? I hear about being able to run Android apps on a playbook. What the hell is that? What do you mean? It's a playbook, it's not an Android device. And what we want to do is talk a little bit about what it is, how it works, so that you've got some background and understanding of what this platform does. So one of the first things to know around the Android runtime that we have working on the playbook is that it's not a virtualized environment. We essentially swapped out the Linux underpinnings of Android and put in the POSIX-based QNX layer. So it runs straight down on the operating system the same way that Android would run straight down on Linux on any other different Android device that's out there. And we've been seeing fantastic performance in the runtime, and in many cases actually running faster than we're seeing it running on different Android devices. So we've got full integration when we go to that layer down into the actual operating system and the hardware. So we're able to get a great performance both from the UI side of things as well as being able to get out onto other different capabilities. And the basis of the Android layer is Gingerbread or 2.3.3 compatibility that's out there, where we see the majority of applications and the majority of interest that we've been seeing from our community as well. So some of the things by being able to tie it down into this lower level gives us great performance. All the UI is all put down onto OpenGL. We've got full things for multi-touch, for virtualized keyboards. So plugging it directly into the actual device the same way that you would see in any type of installation that's there. Same with integration into the home screen. Your application's on the home screen and into the different ways that you would launch any other application on the platform itself. And even doing some different things for implicit intent. So when you want to launch the camera or you want to open up a file of a certain type, it knows where to go to launch the native assets that are on the playbook to be able to go in and be able to bring those up. File storage as well, being able to see where your actual code and your storage is being put, so you can actually have a sandbox of your files so no other app can access them. That's built into the QNX underlying system, or being able to put on some debug files via USB as well. And one of the main questions again around this is, well, what do I do? Do I recompile my code to some other weird format that you guys are doing? And the answer is no. You take your APK, you package it into our installable format, which is a bar file, which is essentially a zip. You sign it and you put it into Apple. So it's actually the real APK itself running inside of Delvik, running on an actual playbook. So it's no special code or crazy stuff that you need to do there. And what we've found is for our compatibility that we've got on the Android player right now is we've seen about 65% of apps in the Android marketplace come across without having to make any types of tweaks. So what you'll find in some cases, there may be an API that's not supported, but an equivalent way of being able to solve the problem is supported. So we were trying to push that needle as far to 100% as possible. We'll continue to move that up as we go from release to release. So from a tooling aspect, there's a couple of different options. The main one is being able to download our Eclipse plugin that just adds on to your ADT plugin for the environment there. Our goal in here is to be as invisible as possible. We're just a different build target inside of the tooling, just like any other target that you're working with. Full debugging, full launching the simulator to a real device. Everything all just works the way that it should. Our whole goal here is to be as invisible as possible. We have other different wizards that are in there as well that will help you with that bar packaging and the signing, so that you don't have to worry about that until you want to deploy up into app world. Another great tool that we have that we've seen different developers try out is an online tool where you can upload your application and it will tell you what kind of compatibility that you've got. Is everything all good to go, or are there certain APIs that you need to take care of on a difference? So from the compatibility level, there are a few exceptions that are here. I encourage you, if you're an Android developer, go take a look at our Android site. Just go to developer.blackberry.com and go into the Android section. In the API reference, it talks about what's not supported because it's a much shorter list than trying to talk about what is supported. So there are a set of APIs that aren't quite yet supported on the platform, and our goal is to be able to move them as much as possible. One of the big ones that we hear about is the NDK aspect of things, those doing JNI calls down into C, C++ code. Most of the cases that we've seen there have been games, and they've been putting it in that layer and building an Android layer on top just to be able to do some of the different UI. If you are in that category of having a game down there in native, I would suggest looking at our native gaming porting capabilities than trying to bring your Android application over that way. You're going to get a much better down-to-the-metal experience and an easier way to bring it across. My guess is you're likely bringing that same game to multiple different platforms, so building that game out into our native one is going to be easier than trying to bring it across from an Android perspective. So some other different things on there. There's items that aren't a technical hurdle. It's more of a business hurdle, whether or not being able to bring in things like Google Maps. So there's vendor-specific APIs that are out there that are offered on certain Android handsets, and we're working our way through that compatibility.